The topic of this week's tip is how to finish off a tubular bind-off on a piece of flat knitting. I have done lots and lots of videos on this, on how to do it in the round, because generally I am doing this on a pair of socks. But I actually have a project for cast on where I needed to finish it off on a flat piece, and I realized I didn't remember how to do it, so I had to look it up, and I'm doing a video, so if I have to look it up again, I'll know where to find it. By the way, this looks very bizarre. The top piece is pulling in quite a bit. The reason for this is knit in a worsted weight yarn. This is a light DK, and that's why it's pulling in like this. The stitches are picked up properly, I assure you. So just disregard that. What we're focusing on are these stitches. Now to start, I have to get rid of this knit stitch. In the instructions that I like to use for a tubular bind off, you start with a purl stitch, but I have this knit stitch here that I need to deal with, and I've got to get it off my needle, and then I'm going to be finishing it off in the next step. I'm going to insert my needle knitwise. I'm going to pull it, and I'm going to slip that stitch off. And don't worry about it, we're going to come back to it in a minute. And then I'm going to go knitwise into the first purl, and from this point on, this is what you do across the entire row. I go in knitwise, and then I find that last knit stitch in my selvage that I've pulled off, and I insert my needle into it, and then I insert it into the next knit stitch, skipping this guy. Okay, and I'm going to pull this tightish, and then to finish it off, I've got that purl stitch. I'm going to go in purlwise. Then I'm going to slip all of those stitches off, and from that point it's just very repetitive. Knitwise, purlwise into the two knits, the one that's off the needle, the one that's still on the needle, and then purlwise and drop. Now, a question that comes up is, how long should I cut my yarn? Generally, it's a good idea to make it at least 3 times as long as the piece that you are binding off. But I always wind up making it just a little bit longer, because one of the times when I was doing this, I didn't, and I ran out, and that was horrible. So that's just going to continue on, and you can see that it's giving you a nice tubular edge here. Drop. I'm going to pause the video till I get to the end, and I wish I could have found a smaller little swatch in my work so I wouldn't need to do so much, but I didn't. And then we're going to come up to see what we do at the end. Okay, I'm back again, and you can see I've just got 3 stitches here, so I'm going to go in when I knit. And by the way, if you put this down while you're doing it, put it down after you've slipped the stitches off, and then you'll know where you are again. Sometimes it can be confusing if you stop midway. I'm going here, and then I'm going to purl, and I'm going to drop these 2 guys, and then I'm just going to knit this guy off, and then I'm going to finish it off by going in just through that 1 knit stitch. So I'm doing half of what I would do because I don't have enough stitches. And then I'm going to finish that off and neaten it up. And you can see that there's my nice little tubular edge, nice and stretchy. And again, I apologize for using 2 different weights of yarn here.